Alright chefs, now we're on to the stage where we're getting ready to make the stock from the John Dory bones. One thing to remember in relation to the actual stock itself is to make sure that you actually remove the eyes from the fish. What happens is as well is that basically when the eyes are in the stock, you can see here what you have is a situation where if they burst, they will first of all discolour the stock. Remember, what we want from a fish stock is a white stock, and they will discolour the stock, and also they will taint the stock as well in relation to making it slightly bitter. So we need to make sure that the eyes are actually removed when we're using the heads. Okay. Now the next thing to remember in relation to using the heads is that you saw me remove the blood from the spine, you saw me remove the sac when we were doing the filleting. Now it's also to make sure that the heads have also got the blood washed out of them as well. Again, that's only going to discolour the stock, and we don't want that. So that's what we have in relation to the stock. As you can see, we have our bones ready. We've got our basics for the stock, which is we're going to be using leek, the white of the leek. We're going to be using some mushroom trimmings. We're going to be using some black peppercorns, we're going to be using some onion, a couple of slices of lemon, and we're going to be using a bucket garni. When we put all this together and we bring it and we're about ready to add in our cold water to the stock, we bring it back down. Okay, thanks chef. Make our fish stock now. What you see here at the moment is our fresh leek and potato soup. We have a function on this evening for 200 people, so we're making a fresh pot of fresh leek and potato soup. Another day we'll take you through how to make a fresh soup from start to finish, and possibly this one here, leek and potato. Anyway, back to what we're doing here. Now, what I want to do is I'm dropping in some butter here into a, as you can see, and you hear the noise going on in the background, guys, but as we're all well aware, this is a live working kitchen, so just bear with us. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in we're making our fish stock, right? So what we have here is sliced onions, sliced mushrooms, and sliced leek. Okay, now guys, we only want the white of the leek. All right, remember that the whole point of this is to keep this is a white stock, so we want to make sure that we keep the white part of the leek, because if we go up and start using the green part, all it's going to do is basically make our stock bitter. So what I want to do is just melt down this butter, get these in, get them softening out. When they're in and when they're begun to sweat off, I'm going to then add in the fish, the actual bones themselves, and begin the cooking process in relation to the stock. So anyway, here we go. So anyway, mushrooms in, alright? Onions in, leek in. Okay.
So chef, that's the question again.
Yeah.
You put in the harder vegetables first and put in the softer vegetables last. Is that the way how it goes?
No, not really. Basically, what we have here is we're not looking to cook out these vegetables at all as we start off. All we're doing here is what's called sweating, alright? Which is basically where we want to begin the cooking process of where the vegetable, this is the base mirepoix, this is the base veg for the stock. We just want this to begin to render down and sweat slightly so that their own natural juices begin to come out to help the cooking process along before we actually add in the rest of the fish bones. Now the other thing to remember, chefs, is that we use cold water for this fish stock, alright? Process from start to finish in relation to cooking the stock is approximately 45 minutes. We bring the stock to the boil. When the stock comes to the boil, we scum it, and then we actually reduce the heat down and let the stock just simmer away. Now you can see here that these vegetables have started to turn white. Now it's time to add in the fish bones. Now, as I said before as well, in relation to the stock, right? Remember to actually clean. If you're going to use the John Dory heads, remove the eyes and make sure that the blood has been cleaned out of the back of it, okay? The back of the head. So these are going in here now. Have bones in here, alright? Now, the next thing that I want to add into this is a glass of white wine. For that, our bouquet garni is going in, alright? 4 slices of lemon. About 20 peppercorns. Our glass of white wine is going in. And now we're adding in our cold water. Now what we want to make out of this is about 1 litre of stock, okay? So that's about 1 litre there. We want to just cook that down now. So the first thing, as I said, what we're going to do is actually bring this up to the boil and then begin to reduce it down once we've strained it and passed it. So we've got the full heat on now. Now don't forget, guys, use a lid, alright? Remember that by adding a lid to when you're actually cooking, you're going to reduce your waiting time down for boiling for around about by 1/3, okay? So you're saving cooking time and you're also being more green and friendly to the planet. Chefs, okay, now what I want to show you now is a beurre manier. Now I have around about a 1/4 pound of butter in here, okay? We've just melted the butter down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some white flour, ordinary white flour, and this is the equivalent of a roux, okay? A roux is a cooked thickening agent, yeah, that we also use butter and flour with. But with this one, this is uncooked. The butter is softened, it's not cooked. The flour is raw, it's not cooked, okay? So what I'm looking for here now in relation to this is being able to, I'm not going to add in all of this flour because I'm looking for a certain consistency. So I just want to mix X amount of it around. And if you can see that there, I'm just going to add in a little bit more flour into this. Now what we do with this is basically once we have this mixed together and blended together, okay, we add it in as a thickening agent into our sauces that we're going to use. A beurre manier is mostly used for thickening sauces, and you need a hell of a chunk of beurre manier if you're going to actually thicken a pot of soup with this, alright? That's why in a soup we actually use a roux as a base in relation to starting off thickening agents for a soup. But as I said to you, a beurre manier is mostly used as a thickening agent for sauces. Now you can see the consistency that I have here, okay? Even that is still a little bit wet. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to get a little bit more flour and add it in. When I have that, I'll bring you back and show you exactly what a beurre manier should look like when it's finished. Okay, chefs, now as you can see, our beurre manier is still a little bit too wet. So what I'm doing is I'm adding more flour in. Now at this stage, I don't want to add in too much. What I'm looking to show you here is consistency. What the consistency of the beurre manier should look like once it's been blended. And what we're looking for is a shine to be had on the flour itself. Okay, you can see a shine just there. Now also as well, we're looking not to see any of the butter that has been put in here, okay? So now we're just about finished, we're just about there. I would say that's probably going to be it. Once we mix this in. Now when you also add your beurre manier in to thicken your sauce, remember, you need to allow time to cook the flour out, okay? Otherwise, what's going to happen is your sauce is just going to taste of flour, all right? Now, as you can see here, there we have, it's more like a pastry dough. Now, this, when you're adding it in to a sauce, you take off a small piece, you whisk it in. You don't just grab a whole handful and drop it in. You basically, if you're working on the sauce corner, what you're going to do is you potentially could be thickening small quantities of sauce in relation to that day's menu. So basically what you need to do, as I said, is get your beurre manier to that stage, let it cool before you begin to use it. Don't use it when it's boiling hot. Let it cool down to room temperature. And as I said, when you're adding it in, add it in bit by bit. Even that. Don't add the whole lot in at one time.
Chef, one question. Can you freeze that and use it for later?
Yes, you can freeze beurre manier perfectly, and you can literally portion it out. Say, for example, we knew that this amount of beurre manier was going to last us one day in the kitchen. What we can do is we can create a larger lot of beurre manier, portion it out into that, and freeze it, and then take it out day by day as we need it. Thanks, chefs. Talk to you soon.